You want me?
Look, I find you very attractive, but I just can't do this.
Why not? You just said it's what we both want.
I could very easily sleep with you.
I want that. I want you to make love to me.
No. It won't be making love. Look, I'm really sorry, Celine, and I don't want to hurt you.
Don't touch me! Don't ever touch me again.
Welcome to Series 2, Episode 43 of Conversation Eagle Mountain, a podcast about the tribe. I'm your host, Lance, and joining the podcast panel today is Liz.
Hello.
Sabine.
Hi.
And Maggie.
Hi.
With episode notes done by Matt and myself. So Series 2, Episode 43, the screenplay was done by Carrie Rose. It was directed by John Callan. And the episode synopsis were read out by Liz.
Celine pours her heart out to Bray, while Dal struggles with guilt over his feelings for Ellie. Alice comes to a realization about Lex, and Bray and Danny demand the truth from Ebony. But will they believe what she has to say?
Okay, so picking up where the last episode ended, Bray attempts to rebuff Celine's advances, but she refuses to stop until Bray tells her that although he's attracted to her sexually, he doesn't share Celine's romantic feelings, at which point she storms out. So yeah, panel, Celine's seduction attempt, what did you make of it?
Gross. I mean, it was disgusting. I feel like it was actually worse than what Lex did to her.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't disrobe and literally, like throw himself at her, like pull him, what I mean, I guess he did, but he wasn't naked. Like she straight up did not take no for an answer. Straight up. Like she definitely poured out more than her heart to Bray.
The secondhand embarrassment is so strong. It's like watching cringy TikToks or memes or something where you just, oh my God, it's pathetic. It's awful.
Mm-hmm.
It's awful what she's doing to Bray. So there's the anger element coming from it, but it's also just, how sad are you? And I think it's right on par with what Lex did to her because now if Celine had just pushed herself on top of Bray, he may not have seen that as much of a threat because she's not bigger than him. He's physically stronger. He could remove her if he wants to. Whereas, in Celine's position with Lex on top of her, she may have felt physically threatened, unable to get him off of her, that panic. But what she does to Bray is equally awful, just on the opposite end of the spectrum. His bodily autonomy away from him by pulling him on top of her, by trying to forcefully make him a participation in something he doesn't want. So it's almost like she's trying to pretend, I'm not the one doing this. See how badly he wants me? He's on top of me. She's trying to force his hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like,
yeah,
it's equally awful. Yeah. It's just, it works for the stronger person to be pushed into that position. And Bray reacts to it exactly as one would, having their body taken from them and forced into something they don't want to do. And it was just like, this is pathetic and disgusting. Like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if you can sink lower than this, baby girl. You're gonna try, but wow. Like, oh, honey.
Yeah. This whole moment just made me wonder if Celine seriously thought that no guy in the world would refuse a naked girl. It's like she just assumed he would be okay with this, that he would want her because he had no clothes on.
That was her plan.
Yeah.
That's exactly her plan.
It's just, it makes me wonder if she seriously assumed that that's what every guy would do.
I think she also had this fantasy in her head.
Mm-hmm.
This story of her and Bray, and she was taking his reactions and actions to her and what he was saying to her and spinning everything in her head. And that goes back to, as Liz said, her having narcissistic tendencies. And you see it when she tells him, "Don't you ever touch me."
Mm-hmm.
She was definitely making it him at this point. That was the at fault. It was not. It wasn't that she, threw herself at him literally. Like she was now making it him. He was the problem because she can't handle rejection.
Yeah, because he didn't want to.
Reaction was like every every female has dealt with this. No offense to the males out there. I'm sure you've had experiences like this, but this is definitely something I know every female can relate to. Guy comes on to you, maybe he slides into your DMs, maybe he buys you a drink, and he's all sweetness and light until you tell him something like, I really appreciate that, but I'm in a relationship, or I'm not interested. And all of a sudden they're just like, they got all the insults in the world for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all because you said, no, thank you. I'm not interested. And they attack you. They insult you. They try to push you down because, oh, I got rejected. That's exactly what Celine is doing to Bray. And again, disgusting.
I have so many thoughts on this scene. And yeah, there's no words to describe it because it's just, ugh.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
I'm literally sipping ginger ale to settle my stomach after this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would be funny if I'm not thinking about what poor Bray is going through here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you take away the personal tragedy, this is kind of hilarious. But then I'm remembering that a person is literally being assaulted here and
Right.
could not want this less, could not voice that more, that they don't want this. And then Bray is left, like every victim, feeling that this is somehow their fault.
Yep. And he even previously, he may not have, because we've always talked about him being naive when it comes to women and not seeing, the obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't seeing it with Celine until that one conversation. And he realized, and then he removed himself, you know what I mean? Like took his arm away from her and pulled back from her. And I think that's when he was like, okay, so maybe,
And Bray was way nicer to her than she deserved him to be at that moment.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Like what he says to her, it was so clear and straight. He actually compliments his assaulter, like, you're very beautiful. It's not that I'm unattracted to you, and I could easily sleep with you if I was that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Again, all you people out there who say that this is all Bray does, he's not that kind
He's
of
not.
guy.
No.
He only goes for it when he's in love, when he has deep feelings. It would never cross his mind to cheat on the person he's with and cares about. It would never cross his mind to sexually take advantage of someone because it would be easy.
Yeah.
This would be so easy.
So
And
easy.
he was like, no, I put your clothes back on. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I don't love you. That's why I could never do those things to you. That would be disrespectful to you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm so sorry, Bray. I'm so sorry.
And to think, that poor guy, I mean, it's not the first woman who wants to throw herself at him, but yeah, even Trudy wasn't this desperate.
Even Ebony wasn't this desperate.
No,
Ebony
this is
kidnapped
another
him.
level.
She locked him
Yeah.
up, but even she had enough self-respect to be like, he'll come to me on his own.
Well, yeah. Just gives him a little back rub, sunscreen,
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, but at least that's not as bad as this.
No, this is appalling, actually. Like this, just like a lot of things. I can't. I'm sorry. There's so much that I could say, and I feel like I shouldn't.
I just feel bad for Bray.
I do feel bad for Bray, especially with what happens with Ryan, and Bray could have said so many things, and he didn't. It's a whole crappy situation all the way around. Everybody's getting screwed over, but Celine gets to run away and play victim. It's fine.
Yeah.
It is so crazy to think that she thought that she could just drop her clothes, grab him into the situation, and then they would suddenly reunite this passion from once years ago. And he'd just drop everything for her. And then to spin it like he's the attacker, that's what really annoys me.
Yes,
And
exactly.
she's always done this with Bray. It's always been him. The reason why it didn't work out was him. The reason why she's throwing herself at him is him. The reason why she tried to kill Trudy is him. Everything's him. She's never taken any of that.
Yeah, it's
It's
frustrating.
Celine.
Despicable.
It is too, it's just there's so okay. With Celine, there's a lot of growth, but there's more setback than there is growth. When she has growth, she goes forward, but then all of a sudden we're back to season 1. Celine, like there's no, the growth doesn't continue, doesn't stick.
Yeah.
I guess. Even more so than Lex, in my opinion. More could have been done with Celine, in my opinion.
She's always one step forward, two step backwards.
This whole situation could have been handled differently as well, but they took it the route they took it, and there's no going back.
Now, Celine's never had any solid foundation. I compared her once to those floaty bobble things you see in like a car lot, and they need air to keep them upright. And that's Celine. The only time you ever see Celine standing on her own 2 feet is because her foundation is strong. She has someone taking care of her. She feels safe and content in her world. And the minute she doesn't have someone else filling her up, she completely deflates. And I think that's why you have this consistent 1 step forward, 2 steps back, because none of it is really Celine building herself up. It's Celine being held up. And without her crutches, she can't stand up at all,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Celine ever really finds out who she is.
Yeah.
There's
always someone there, yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't ever really have that until the writers just decided one day she had it, and then they immediately took it away from her when they didn't need her to be that anymore. So.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Yes, because in season 4, okay, I could have seen it. I could have seen it later on. I could have seen her really pulling herself, into or becoming the that she is, becoming someone, a woman, a strong woman, right? That she could be proud of. And then they had to throw,
especially with no competition,
right? But then they had to throw, something into the mix, of course, or someone, if you will, and she fell apart again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it makes complete sense for what she does in season 3, or season, later on in the season and in season
whatever
3.
season.
Yeah, like where she goes with the Chosen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It makes complete sense how she ends up in the situation that she ends up.
If I ever had a tiniest bit of respect for Celine, it's gone.
Yeah, no,
it was gone in this moment.
Yeah, and that's what sucks too. There's no getting it back because you think about this and you're like, well, if she can do that,
and
not really have any, the remorse that she does have, I don't feel is even for what she did. It's how she feels being rejected,
And she could have avoided all of this. If what she really wanted was to confess her love to Bray, which again, I already said go for it. Screw Danny, who cares? Whatever. Just tell him how you feel. Do your thing. If she actually just wanted to know what he thought, why didn't she just wait for his reaction to give him a chance to say how he felt? And she would have spared herself all of this rejection and embarrassment if she had just gone in there and said, I love you. You have my heart. This is why I'm not marrying Ryan. And then actually waited to see what he said. And he would have told her, wow, that's really sweet, but I don't feel that way about you. I'm in love with Danny's crazy behind, Yeah. And that would have been it. And she would have at least been able to leave that room with some freaking dignity.
Yeah. And he would have respected her still.
Yeah, she didn't care what he actually had to say. She cared about living out this fantasy,
That's exactly it, yep.
The narcissism's dream, what she wanted it to be. And when it wasn't that, what did she do? She completely collapsed. It's your fault. It's your fault.
Yep.
You're not giving me what I dream of. And now I'm going to go and feel terribly sorry for myself and try to garner sympathy. And I'm like, you didn't have to do any of this. None of this was necessary. You took it to the extreme.
I do think, as horrible as I find the scene and what she did, I do think it was a good thing they put it in the show. Just simply to show girls her age that isn't how things work. Just because you want to throw yourself at some guy because you think that's how you're going to get him, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. And they've showed it on the other the other side of the spectrum as well. So it's nice to see it, this opposite, point of view. Not nice, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, good. Educational, I guess. Because at least it might make some girls that watch this scene just think, oh, maybe that's not the way to get the guy I want.
Yeah.
How do you even be friends with someone who does this? Like, ugh.
Yeah, and that's the problem, because how do you justify this in your head afterwards? You know what I mean? Like the people that do know, right? How do you just go about your everyday lives as a family, knowing? I mean, I guess they did it with Lex, but Lex got kicked out.
Yeah.
Lex was kicked out for a while, Ryan threw him on his ass. Like, Celine, she runs away.
Mm-hmm.
What are the consequences? Because I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember.
There aren't any.
I didn't
You
think
know,
so.
No.
And
I didn't think
that's
so.
how they deal with all kinds of problematic people. You know, I mean, yeah, Lex was kicked out
Ebony
for
tried to
3
kill someone.
days, and then they're perfectly comfortable living with this, sexual offender.
Right.
You know, so I mean, why should it be any different with Celine? You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it is fair, but that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most frustrating thing about Celine as a character and someone you might have in your life is that when she's at her best, she's quite amazing a person, and you can understand
agree
why
with
anyone
that.
would want her in your life, you know, because at her best, she's wonderful. She's a queen. But at her worst, she does the unimaginable.
Yes.
And you have to have someone like that in your life for a really long time before you start to realize how toxic they are,
Mm-hmm.
and how dangerous they can be, you know. So I just, oh my gosh. I swear this episode just should be called Gaslighting, you know, the
For
episode.
real.
Because
The whole
there's a lot of
episode.
it going on.
A
And
lot.
oh gosh, oh my gosh, this one was a little exhausting for me. And this is where we started. I was like, oh boy.
I'm on to you, Ebony.
And what exactly is it I'm supposed to have done this time?
You want me to spell it out? Okay. Black vans, kidnapping, scaremongering. And when we're all too terrified to go out there, guess who comes along and saves the day?
Wow! Terrific plan! I wish I had thought of it.
So the meeting with the tribe leaders wasn't your idea either.
Who told you? Jack?
That's irrelevant. What matters is what you're up to.
What matters is that Bray and I were once lovers. It haunts you, so you haunt me.
So Danny confronts Ebony at the hotel, accusing her of being behind the kidnappings in the city and letting slip that she knows about the meetings that Ebony had with the tribe leaders. Ebony counters by saying that Danny is only blinded by her jealousy of her and Bray's past. So yeah, I got a couple of questions about this panel. What do you make of Danny simply storming in to confront Ebony about all this that's happening? Why do you think Danny didn't properly cover her sources and allowed the fall to go on to Jack, and he's supposed to be their secret spy? And what do you make of that last bit of Ebony's accusation that the reason Danny is really so pissed is because she still has a part of Bray?
Oh my god. Like, listen, I thought that Danny was supposed to be this smart young woman. Okay? She wrote a Bill of Rights, for crying out loud. But she didn't think about the fact that the only one that could have possibly told her anything was Jack. And by doing this, she was putting his life in danger.
And blowing his cover.
And yes, like she is so gosh darn stupid. Like
No, she just doesn't care.
it's either she doesn't care or she was genuinely so worked up and emotional that she couldn't think about it, okay? I don't know. Either she's on her period and it's like, oh my god, my hormones are going crazy. I have to handle this now, right? I've been there. I've done that, okay? But really, I mean, really... and to go alone, like to go by herself, and she didn't even take her crossbow. Danny, I thought you were better than that.
When I was defending her last episode,
Oh gosh.
for rightfully, I was like, it's totally fair for her to suspect Ebony. Totally fair.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. She's your number one culprit. That's why the Chosen are doing what they're doing. They know that Ebony is the perfect fall guy for this. And I was like, it's fair. But I was like, okay, she wants to go on the attack. And Bray's like, we need more evidence. That's not a good idea. She won't even talk to him about making a plan about how to handle it. So when she storms in there, I was like, this was your plan. This is how you were going to confront her, but just screaming at her and giving away that you guys are clearly spying on her. How are you going to send Jack back now? Because Ebony now knows that he's gathering information for you. And then they clearly didn't think about that because they just immediately sent him back to be killed. What are you doing? And I honestly, if you have to ask me, why do I think that this is the way Danny decided to handle this? I think Ebony's right. I do think Ebony is just being jealous. That's how she's
Yes.
behaving. She is behaving like a little girl who needs to see her competition and scream at her and be like, I know, I'm on to you. You're after my man. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's how she's behaving. She is not behaving like someone who's like, this person's a danger to the city. We need to watch ourselves with them. We need to gather as much information and evidence on them as possible because they could bring down our downfall and ruin everything we've been building. No, she is behaving like a jealous, irrational person. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, there's no reason for you to have stormed in there the way you did.
No.
None.
Zero reasons.
Honestly, all Danny wants to do is discredit Ebony so Bray won't think she's interesting anymore.
That's exactly it.
It's just...
She needs Ebony completely out of the picture. Ebony is 100% right.
And she dares to call Ebony the scheming cow.
Oh, Danny.
I really don't understand how, again, you just gave away that Jack is spying for you, you know, and obviously telling you things that he's seeing at the hotel. And then in the same episode, you sent him back. How do you think this is going to work? Ebony now knows that Jack is reporting back to you about
but come on.
things. What?
It's completely stupid.
Well,
Morat.
her brain, the rational part of her brain is currently in hibernation.
Currently inside Bray.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
There was more than fluid exchange.
I mean, and luckily, you know, it's kind of obvious that Ebony is a person who's smart enough to have known from day one that Jack would be reporting back. She's not that naive.
No, she's not. It's just
It's another cringy scene. Another one where I get secondhand embarrassment, and I'm just like, as is, Danny.
Yeah,
Danny,
exactly.
Why do you make this so hard? I tried to be so fair to you. I tried. Why?
You were doing so good. So good.
Why? Why do you exist, Danny? Why?
To give us someone other than Celine to hate.
Dude. Oh, it's so bad. It is so bad. And when the scene started, I go, oh, we're back to this Danny again. Like, oh, here she is. She didn't go too far. Crazy.
As for what Ebony says, I really do believe that Danny's problem with Ebony is that she is another female who is capable of captivating Bray's attention.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Whether or not she believes that Bray still has feelings for Ebony, I don't know what rattles on in that girl's head, but she definitely hates and resents the fact that Ebony was really good at keeping Bray's attention. She was really good at keeping Bray under heel, controlling him, which we all know that's what Danny wants to do. And she wants to be the only one who can control Bray. She wants Bray to defer to her, you know, and it's like it bothers her that there's another woman out there who's capable of doing that, you know, and this conflict is so sad and pathetic when I think about what this conflict originally was between Amber and Ebony, which was opposing values and viewpoints.
Yeah.
And it was just really nice to see these two women going head to head in Tribe World about how we should live and run things. And that was the opposition. And now it's just, you make my boyfriend's nether regions. Like, really? This is what the conflict is turned into? Like, they both deserve better than this.
You just mentioned Amber, and what I was thinking was, hey, she suddenly reminds me a bit of how Amber responded the moment Ebony took Bray.
Very different.
But still,
Ebony had physically removed him from his home, and she had no idea what she was going to be doing to him. You know? Danny, Bray's safe at home.
yeah, but she's acting similar. I mean, and at least Amber would have had good reason to be mad. But...
I mean, not Ebony, he should be worried about Celine.
Clearly.
I have to admit, the poetic justice of that. Like, she is looking at the wrong
Wrong
threat.
person, yes. Yes.
If she wasn't off throwing her tantrums, Celine would have never found her window.
Nope.
Ew. Gosh.
And then we have the other girl that used to like Bray facilitating and pushing all the right buttons to orchestrate this.
Ah, scary, evil Trudy.
Oh.
Poor Bray. Gosh.
This is a stupid scene. I don't like it, and I don't like what it. I really just don't like how it diminishes who are supposed to be two powerful, intelligent women, and the conflict is about a boy. And
Yeah.
I wish Ebony had dressed Danny down even more. Like, Danny tries to leave the room with some confidence, and all I'm thinking is, this is what you came to say? I know you're up to something. Like, okay, way to give it away, Danny. Great plan. You were screaming at Bray because he was like, we shouldn't do that. And you did it and got nothing done, except you gave up the only evidence you had against Ebony, and that's that you have a spy amongst her. Way to go, Danny. And then she's like going to walk out like, I have him. And I love what Ebony says. Like, no, your problem is, you will never have all of him, and that I'll always have a special piece of his heart. And the thing is, Ebony's not wrong, because Bray never forgets that Ebony existed. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying.
Took you a second. Yeah, that's
Nice.
Liz.
That's so bad.
Bray couldn't forget Ebony if he tried.
No.
But as soon as Danny's not in his field of vision, he's like, Danny who?
Oh.
Dude, man, that's so bad.
All right, let's continue that scene, because when Ebony follows Danny back to the mall, an already frazzled Bray is frustrated by both of them and demands that Ebony tell them the truth about her secret meetings with the tribe leaders. As Ebony explains her continued suspicions of the Chosen, Trudy uses this moment to reveal Ebony's betrayal of her to the Guardian. Although initially confused about who to believe, Bray and Danny wonder if Ebony's secretly still working with them. Yeah, panel, like, what do you make of Trudy using this moment to tell the truth about what Ebony did?
She was always waiting for the right moment to use this in her favor.
This wasn't the right moment. This was a really lame time to use this information. It would have been way more effective at an earlier time. I get it. It's just a distraction technique so that they won't actually listen to Ebony's concerns. I get that, but you're waiting for the moment that Trudy would use this information effectively to burn Ebony. And so when she does it here, it's incredibly underwhelming. Bray and Danny already don't trust Ebony. They're already not inclined to listen to her. And it didn't do anything. Like, there's no huge catalyst to her telling them this. Also, why should they be confused? Like, honestly, the way you guys already feel about Ebony, you should just be nodding your head going, well, that makes sense. Yeah, that all
makes
checks
sense.
out.
Yeah, that's why she was here and you weren't. I get it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought so. I suspected there should not be any confusion or doubt that that's what happened. I already told you, Bray. They disappeared together. Ebony killed Trudy. You know that's what happened. So it's just underwhelming.
And Ebony knew where she was.
Yeah, they should have been
where
like
she
two
was.
plays.
It's not a good reveal.
I mean, Ebony even told Bray she knew where Trudy was. You know, she tried to blackmail him with that info to get the antidote formula. And yeah, he should not have been surprised.
No.
And it's a bad payoff, because those first few days she was back and teasing Ebony with that information were really good. You know, and this is just a flat, you know, oh, okay. Instead of like Chekhov's gun, it was just a fizzled firecracker, and you're just like, oh, that's how you used it? This could have been better utilized to really burn Ebony. And this, again, I get it. It's a distraction. She just doesn't want them listening to whatever Ebony might have to say that could make sense. But it's like underwhelming all the way around. Their reactions, her delivery, it doesn't move the plot forward. It doesn't help the story progress. Everything would have probably progressed exactly the same if she had said something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think her saying this right now is just, for her, I mean, one of her goals was to make sure they see Ebony as the villain. They look at Ebony's direction for something bad's going on. So the attentions of the Chosen. You know, it was at least something she still had on Ebony to use in that split second.
But just her being there is a reminder that she knew where Trudy was. And I just feel like the information could be used better. And I feel like what Trudy could have said in that moment without giving up this vital information, it still could have worked. This needed to be rewritten. That's all I have to say. It needed to be rewritten. It's not an effective scene. And as storytelling goes, it's a lame duck. I'm still just looking at Danny and Bray's expressions like, what? Could it have been her? Like, oh my
Bray.
You are so stupid. I wish you'd run away and been stupid together.
Bray, this is not the first time. Not the first time you've heard this information. Sir.
The fact that they have to have a conversation about it. Oh, do you really think? Oh, shut up.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, we really think that she did this. Right.
Come on.
But do we really think she's involved with this? That's the question.
My gosh, Danny, you just went off to accuse her, and now you're gonna play but are we sure? Danny, I hate you and your gaslighting craziness. Stop doing this to me. I don't deserve it. I didn't ask for you to be here, and you just torture me on the daily. Why do you do this to me, Danny?
I did not ask for you.
Okay, you have no right. You spent last episode throwing your dolly out of the pram because Bray would not immediately agree with you that you need to storm the Capitol. And now you're going to look at him like he's the crazy guy jumping to conclusions. I hate you. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be.
That wasn't nice, but I can't.
You don't gotta be nice. It's okay.
Do you hear her? But what if we're not... Danny!
Danny. And I feel like maybe that's why it's not as effective as it could have been. Like if they would have immediately been like, all right, well, let's do something about it. You know what I mean? Instead of, well, maybe she could have done that. It's possible.
Then she has the nerve to get Bray to apologize to her. He's apologizing to her craziness. And the way she treats every conflict in their relationship. And look at the look on her face. She got exactly what she wanted. That's why she started this fight in the first place. Writers, why do you hurt me like this?
Yeah.
The Chosen cannot come soon enough. Let's just leave it at that for me. So I ended this episode going, Jaffa, hurry up. Please.
I need some entertainment that isn't this.
This isn't this.
That isn't this. Thank you.
Oh, we got a lot more love stuff to go through.
No, it's so bad. Why is it? This is all it is. It's just love triangles everywhere, except Bray's in like this love hexagon. I don't know. Like,
and the boy doesn't even want it.
He doesn't want to be a part of it.
I'm tapping out of this next one. I'm out of here. I'm not staying for this next one. You guys enjoy. I don't want to deal with the pewter triangle. No.
You know what makes it worse? I think of my parents. You must always do the honorable thing, Dal.
Well, that's exactly it, chicken. You haven't done anything, and it has to stay that way. Anything else would be betrayal. And you must never betray friends.
Not even for love?
Not even for love.
After Ellie explains to Dal that she lied about the gift he gave her to Jack because she didn't want him to get jealous, Dal confides in Alice about his feelings for Ellie and his guilt whenever he's around Jack. Alice assures him that he hasn't done anything wrong, but that he can't tell Ellie how he feels, as this would be a betrayal. And yeah, this is a very sneaky scene to put in panel. What do you make of Alice and Dal's talk, and obviously how it reflects on Alice's own relationship with Lex?
It's the only point. It's the only reason it's here. It's to let us know how Alice is going to take the news about Lex and Tysan. That's its only purpose. You know,
it's foreshadowing.
That's all it is. We need to know that Alice will not tolerate hearing this information. That's it. That's all it does.
Yeah.
Though I will say to Ellie, sweetheart, if you ever have to lie to your partner about small things like gifts that a friend gave you because they'll go into a jealous rage, you shouldn't have to do that with someone that you love. You know what I mean? It's not like Del gave you a pearl necklace. So like it's a box that he made and he's supposed to be your friend. You shouldn't have to hide that because Jack can't handle it. That's a red flag. Just letting you know.
Ellie just going with it. Yeah, it's a gift from a friend, but come on, Ellie, you know better than that.
She didn't even say it was a friend. She said she found it.
Yeah.
Found it. So, yeah. I don't care about the three of them. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, now we know how Alice is going to take this news.
It's going to be bad.
It's going to be bad.
It's going to be bad. It was one of those moments.
I do like seeing that Dal's starting to get impatient about this. Like the way he walks.
Yeah.
What's he doing here? Well, he is her boyfriend, Ellie. Why do you think he's in here? Yeah, that made me laugh a little bit.
Yeah.
What's he doing here? Come. He didn't want to be bothered. If he took a nap in his room, Bray and Danny would come and accost him. Here, Jack, we're going to put your life in danger again. And you don't get more rations for it because we're the worst leaders ever.
No rations.
Okay, I'll say this. I did like what Ellie says to Jack when he says they're sending me back, and I really do like how Ellie reassures him that while she thinks what he's doing is very heroic, she would love him regardless if he said, no, I'm not going to do this. Like, I thought that was really important for her, that support, to let him know that my affection for you does not ride on you being some sort of hero or martyr. Like, it is okay to say, no, I won't do this. I will not put myself in danger. And I won't think any less of you. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was important. And I also even liked Jack saying that I wouldn't be able to live with myself if something happened and I was the only person who could have stopped it. So I'll give them that. I thought that was a really lovely moment between them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a heroism from Jack that, you don't get to often see. Jack doesn't think of himself as a hero. And he's not even doing this to be a hero. And he's actually thinking of other people, the people who could be in danger. So kudos to you, Jack, because you're usually incredibly selfish. But
yeah.
So I'm going to give you that point. And I thought, again, Ellie, that was a beautiful thing to say to somebody, that I think it's great you're doing the brave thing, but I don't need you to be brave. I want you to be safe. That's what I want, And
Mm-hmm.
it was something he needed to hear so that, I thought that was good.
Yeah, I agree.
He told me he's in love. Lex, in love. With someone else. Alice. I can't tell you how hard it is for me to even say it. I can't believe I was stupid enough to think he'd be in love with me.
After Lex admits to Tai-San that he's in love with her, he has a confused heart-to-heart with Alice about feelings, during which she unfortunately realizes that it's not her that he's talking about. Panel, what did you make of that scene?
I felt bad for both of them.
Yep.
More secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah. Like Lex was trying, you know what I mean? And I felt really bad for Alice when she finally realized, okay,
Mm-hmm.
Alice, how could you not have seen it, honey?
Yeah.
It was so obvious that he didn't return your affections, but it still sucks, because you wanted to believe it, and I think Sabine has made some really good points about Alice not having a lot of experience with guys being this way with her, and how she could misinterpret that, and how heartbroken she is, because she does realize he's in love, and it's not with her. Like,
yeah,
that's a double whammy of not only does he not return my affections, but he clearly has them for someone else, and that's what I've been reading from him. Oh my gosh, that you feel foolish, and oh my gosh, that's a double burn. Even if it's like it was obvious, Alice, that it wasn't you. I feel for her, I do. And Lex is trying to be so gentle about it, and it doesn't matter. She was going to take it bad. Not his fault, but she was going to take it bad. And this, oh gosh. I think they were smart to soften this blow by having Lex and Tai-San have their moment before, where he tells her, I've fallen in love with you. Like, he's realizing it in the moment. And I think it helps soften this just a little bit, because it reminds us that Lex isn't doing this just because, like, oh, he's a jerk or anything like that. He's genuinely fallen in love with someone else and not wanting to hurt this person. I do think it helps it a little bit, but ouch.
And then there he is, just, he doesn't want to hurt her, and for one moment, he thinks he understands.
I know.
And I feel bad for Lex at that moment. I feel horrible for Alice, but I feel bad for Lex as well, because he's like, we'll still be mates, right?
Yeah, and I think that sucks the most, is that he genuinely cares for Alice's friendship. It's a sad moment all around.
And then him just not wanting to tell her who
Well, of course not.
it is because he doesn't want her to make it worse for herself. And
Yeah.
Yeah, that was going to be my last question actually on it. Like, do you think he should have just ripped the band-aid off and just told who it was there rather than wait and make it kind of worse in a way?
I don't think he wanted to throw Tyson under the bus.
No.
I'm going to give Lex credit in here.
Yeah.
He really wants to take ownership of his part in this. I'm the one who allowed her to think I had feelings for her. I could have stopped it, as he says. I could have put a kibosh on this a long time ago, and I just didn't because I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And so he's not trying to share the blame, which is very uncharacteristic of Lex,
Yeah.
So he wants to point it at me. If you're going to be mad at me. I don't want you to be mad at anybody else. This was on me. This was my responsibility to tell you. And so I thought that was a very mature decision for him to make. Like, he will let Tyson talk to her friend and deal with Alice individually if that's what Tyson chooses to do. But in this moment, he's making sure it's about he and Alice. He's not trying to fob off responsibility to anybody else. I'm the one who fell in love with someone else. I'm the one who's not in love with you.
Yeah.
If you need to be upset with someone, be upset with me. And I was like, that was actually a pretty mature take for Lex.
And I do genuinely think that he thinks that by not telling her who it is, he's protecting her, because he knows she'll be even more devastated when she finds out it's Tyson.
I fell in love with your best friend.
Yeah, he's trying to
And he's
prevent
also
her
protecting Tyson too.
Yeah, but he's protecting both. He's still trying to protect both of them a bit, in my opinion, because, with the way he says it, don't make it worse for yourself.
Yeah.
An earlier version of Lex would have easily given her a chew toy to get mad at that instead.
Yeah.
An earlier version of Lex would have easily said it was her. This
It
girl.
was Trudy.
She seduced me. She bewitched me or whatever, because he knows that's where her ire will be faced, and I'll get off the hook. He's had that experience with Zandra how many times? So he could have easily fallen back on that old chestnut that worked for him in the past, but he chose not to do that this time.
No, because he still has respect for Alice.
And he's actually in love this time.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to bring fire on the woman I've fallen in love with. I don't. No. Focus on me. Be mad at me. And it's not the only time he's going to do this.
No.
And I'm just like, wow, look at you growing up.
So yeah, I feel horrible for Alice, but I think Lex did the right thing here. Or at least he tried to.
I think he did what he could. Yes, he did what he could.
I also related so much to Alice's response. Like, she stays strong in the moment, and then it's only when she's alone that she lets herself cry.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's so relatable. Like, she holds it together and she shows more anger until she's by herself, and then the sorrow comes out. And it's only when she's with her sister that she's allowed to let that vulnerability that she let anyone see how devastated and heartbroken she actually is, and what she says, how could I be so stupid to think it was me? Oh, honey. No, you're not stupid. Oh, baby. Oh.
Yeah, that was sad.
So sad to hear her say, and again, something many of us can relate to, especially if we were never the person who got the slow-mo walk in high school, you know what I mean? Like, we can feel that way. Like, I feel so dumb for thinking they'd ever fall for me. I'm not that person. I'm not the one people fall for. I don't walk into a room and turn heads, and we internalize that, and just hear her say it out loud. Like, Alice, you're amazing. Why couldn't you guys have given this woman a man? A real man.
A real man.
Yep.
Like, oh, man. Oh, I'm so sorry, baby girl. I'm so sorry, Alice. I really am. I do think it's slightly disturbing, though. Just slightly disturbing that her new crusade is to find the woman. I'm a little concerning.
Boy, I feel sorry.
In all fairness, for Alice at her age, I probably would have done the same thing.
That doesn't make it any less disturbing to me.
I know, but it's like, she thought he was into her, and the only way she can cope with that is by blaming it on the witch who stole him.
She doesn't even do that, though. I'll give her credit.
No,
She
but,
doesn't actually
you know-
pull the "it's the other girl's fault." It's like she just needs to see for herself.
I've been there. You know, and I just had to see. I had to see the other girl.
Because she never actually accuses Tyson of stealing legs, or she doesn't
It's
call her anything like
it's
that.
more mentally the you have to see what you've lost to.
Yeah, I think that's more it. She just needs to see what it is he preferred to her, because she doesn't pull that like many girls do.
No,
I appreciated that from Alice.
but it's easier to hate the girl that won than to hate the guy you're in love with at that point.
Mhm.
Oh, I know. I'm saying that she doesn't act on it the way other characters have, and I'm giving her props for that.
I would have been terrified to have been the woman that Alice was. Yeah.
I'm terrible. I would have flaunted it.
Oh gosh.
I like, what's up, Alice?
No, never. Oh my! You would not have. Not if she was your friend. You would not have.
No, if she was my friend, obviously not.
Obviously not. But if she was like Ebony, then totally.
Yeah, but then it's okay, right? If it would have been Danny,
Yeah.
we would have put you on a stage.
But I mean, if I was the type to like hook up with somebody that I knew that my friend was into, then obviously I'd be the type to flaunt it in her face.
Oh my god.
You might as well own it. Like, y'all, hey, you seem upset today. What's wrong?
Alice is a stronger person than I am because I would have totally smacked her face then.
No, that is not the right reaction.
Yeah, I don't know what I would have done, but
I would have at least thought about it, at the very least.
It's okay to think about it, absolutely, but don't pull a Ryan. It's just sad.
oof.
Dude, I would think about cutting the brakes on her car. Are you kidding me? I'd be thinking a lot of things. I'd be looking in the mirror and pretending I was being questioned by the cops. Like, that's how angry I'd be, but I wouldn't act on it.
I would be a good girl.
I mean, back then, it was more the level of, defacing a yearbook picture.
That's I definitely scribbled out some faces in some yearbooks. It's fair.
These are healthy expressions.
Yes.
And at least back then, we didn't have social media to take our revenge on.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I showed you what you wanted to see. You don't know how weak I really am.
What are you talking about?
The real Celine, the one who throws herself at guys because she's so pathetic.
Celine.
The one who lies and pretends and cheats.
Stop it, Celine. This isn't you.
But it's me, Ryan. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Is it just me? Now, you guys know I try to be fair, even when I freaking hate somebody, but is it just me? Or does it feel like Celine confessing all these horrible things about herself to Ryan is more kind of garner sympathy than actually acknowledging that she's done these horrible things?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've kind of felt bad that I thought that that's all it was. Like I don't feel like she has any genuine remorse for anybody that she hurt around her. She is only doing these things to make herself the victim and to make herself feel better because she's the victim.
Yeah, because if she spins it this way in her mind by going to Ryan with, oh no, you're so much better off without me and blah, 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 it makes it okay in her head that she left.
It seemed like a little strange. It didn't feel like a genuine confession of like, I'm sorry, I've hurt you. I realize I've done some messed up things and I shouldn't be here. I hurt people, anything like that. It didn't feel like that at all. It felt like
she's never genuine.
I want you to feel bad that I'm leaving. I want to play on the fact that you know I have a self-esteem issue and that I feel terrible about myself sometimes. And I want you to worry about me when I leave.
Yes.
You know, it really did feel like that. And I was like, nothing here feels sincere. I don't actually feel like you're acknowledging your responsibility and the terrible things you've done. And yeah, it's just now Ryan's going to worry about you. Ryan might beg you to stay. You know what I mean? And it never sat well with me.
Yeah.
It felt like something straight out of it felt like it came straight out of the narcissist playbook.
Yes,
You know?
exactly. She wants him to run after her.
Yeah, basically.
She wants him to come after her.
Or someone to say You're not all those bad things.
Yes.
You're wonderful. Or
Yep.
something.
Yeah, she needs someone to give her an ego boost.
Yes. She's compliment fishing. She's trying.
I'm leaving. I'm so bad. Don't come after me.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
she's just telling him, "Oh, please run after me."
Yes,
Because
exactly.
I didn't get what I want, and I wrecked things with you, and now I don't have a safety net or a guy to do my bidding.
Yep.
You know what's interesting though? I guarantee that in Celine's head, she feels like she's making a confession and apologizing.
Yes.
Even though she
yes.
never actually apologized. I bet in her head, that's what it sounds like to her.
Yeah.
That I'm going to tell him these things because he deserves to hear them before I leave, and even though that's not what she's actually saying, that's not what we hear. And we're all just like, why did you lay this all on Ryan?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Before you just left. Just go. I mean, again, I don't think it's wrong that you don't love Ryan. I don't think it's wrong you didn't want to marry him. You shouldn't have assaulted Bray. That was wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Yeah.
The only right thing you did was end it with Ryan before you forced yourself on Bray. But
Yep.
if you need to leave or clear your head, go ahead. You don't need to lay all this on Ryan.
Yeah, I can't help it. It just feels like she's just telling this to Ryan because she doesn't want to have burned all of her options.
It's a pity party. She just feels sorry for herself.
It's a woe is me situation. That's absolutely what it is.
And she knows that if she looks even more insecure and like she feels bad about everything, that Ryan is bound to come after her at some point.
I don't know if she wants Ryan to come after her, but it just feels like, I want you to be thinking about me.
She wants to feel wanted.
I want you to feel bad that I'm leaving. I want you to worry about me, or even take the chance to reassure me before I go, because I feel like a terrible person right now. And but I'm not going to actually take ownership for any of the bad things I've done. I'm just going to, in this moment, feel sorry for myself.
Yeah.
Because she conveniently forgets that she does these terrible things when it's convenient for her. Because she'll forget immediately after she leaves.
Yep.
And immediately start respinning all of this. Man, she is the queen of spinning her life into whatever narrative she wants it to be. I'll give her that.
She's the remove requirement.
Yeah, pretty much. I think of what she should have done, like if she actually was sorry and felt like she needed to give Ryan some words, she could have wrote a letter. This wasn't it.
No.
But again, she's emotionally distraught. So
Right. She is. She just got rejected after trying to sexually assault someone. She's not in her right state of mind.
Man, her ego took a kicking. You can tell she's falling apart.
I mean, well, as gentle as Bray was, it was still, his words were harsh. It won't be making love. Oh man, dude. Like that right there, I would have been like, okay, yep, and I would have that gotta go. That's it. All right.
He basically told her it would just be a booty call, and I don't even want a booty call with you.
Right. Oh man.
It's like, here are my DMs. He's like, no thanks.
Left her on red.
I didn't feel much here. I was just like, why are you laying this on Ryan? He's been, you know what I mean?
Because that's what she does. She puts all of her problems on Ryan, and she always has.
Oh, and poor Ryan. He's also very pathetic in this moment. Like, Ryan, honey.
I hate seeing him spiral like he is.
Let it go.
What news?
Disintegration. Indoctrination. Everything just as we've planned.
Good work.
That brings us to our final thoughts of the episode. So Chloe tries once again to reconcile with Patsy, but Patsy admits that she likes the way things are, and parrots Trudy's words back to Chloe about how the Chosen aren't necessarily bad. Please, Trudy lets Patsy look after Brady while she goes to a meeting with the Guardian, where it's revealed that he still has the real Brady hostage. So yeah, Panel, what did you make of the revelation that Brady's been held hostage and that Trudy's been everything under his orders?
It explains so much.
Well, the first time I watched it, I was pretty surprised, to be honest. Because I hadn't really noticed, I thought that she was just being weird about Brady because of, like she was just weird now, right? Like I knew, I didn't think that wasn't Brady until that moment. And then I was like, oh, it all makes sense now,
I love the reveal because, how regardless of how much you are following along, you realize by this point that Trudy's with the Chosen, but you may not know why Trudy's with her. You may not be able to understand how did they get her to agree with their ways. What did they do to her? And she's acting so crazy and mean and evil. Why is she going along with the Chosen? So I do think this is a really just, they have her kid. Like if you ever needed a reason for someone to do something horrible, this is probably one of the strongest reasons a character has ever been given in the show to do something horrible.
Yes.
Like, I don't need anything else explained to me. I'm like, they have her daughter. Okay, I get it. I get all of it now.
Yep.
That's all the motivation she needs. Now, granted, there are plenty of people who forget that, but, for those of us who are actually paying attention, that's enough motivation. Like, they have her daughter. And it's not like they're not just spying on her. They didn't just send her back to the mall freely with her kid. He's holding the baby hostage. Proof that if Trudy doesn't succeed in whatever he sent her to do, it really amplifies why she keeps losing control, why her mood swings all over the place.
Yeah.
Because this pressure of knowing, like, one, she can't see her kid whenever she wants to. She can't be with her baby whenever she wants to. She has to sneak away for these small moments. And then knowing that if she messes up, if the Guardian gets wind that she's messed up or hasn't succeeded, he can just take Brady and disappear.
Yeah, she could never see her again.
Yeah, and I think that's the scary part, because that's why she can't ask anyone for help.
Right. It's like, you can't trust these mall rats to help you get your daughter back. They've already failed twice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I remember reading a comment years ago, like, why didn't Trudy immediately tell the Mallrats what was happening, that the Guardian was holding Brady hostage? And I'm like, did you not pay attention in the first half of season 2?
Right.
One, she has no reason to think they'd even give a crap that the Guardian has Brady, because they didn't before, and they didn't save she and Brady anyway. So I wouldn't tell these idiots either. I'd be like, I'm on my own. I have to save my daughter by myself. It's a great reveal. I also love just the fact that we see for ourselves that she is meeting with the Guardian. The Chosen are somewhere in the city, because she didn't have to go very far. And it answers all those just weird, quirky moments of flipping out about the baby and all these mood swings.
Yes, exactly.
And you're just like, this girl is under massive pressure. And her relief, like when he puts Brady in her arms and she just breaks down, and you're like, I get it. I do. Burn him, Trudy. Do what you got to do. Brady's worth it. Can someone get Chloe some salve for that burn? Damn, Patsy. Gosh, that was cold-blooded. I believe she said that to her. Oh, my word. No, I mean, that's sad because I don't miss it at all. Ouch. Oh, my gosh.
She's such a brat. I'm
so sorry,
brat.
Chloe.
I don't like Patsy.
Chloe was actually trying to take a moment to not discuss Trudy, just get to the heart of it. I miss you as my friend, even to the point where she's like, I don't even care if we see things differently. If you want to spend time with her all the time and I'm scared of her, that's fine. I miss you. I miss you, my friend. And for that friend to be like, I don't miss you. Like,
not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
I actually feel sorry for you.
Oh, like, well, Princess Patsy has arrived.
And that's the thing, and that's why I've never really cared for Patsy or her relationship with Chloe, because I never really felt like it was genuine. I felt like Patsy just needed someone there, you know what I mean? And Chloe always got the brunt of her mood swings.
To be fair to Patsy, I know you hate that. I know. I'm sorry. To be fair to Patsy, she is a child being manipulated by an older person that she trusts. An older person who makes her feel safer than Chloe did. Who makes her, that attention makes her feel special and makes her feel privileged to have it. I know Patsy's not the I didn't. I have burned some of my good friends because an older friend was giving me attention. And it took me ages to realize that older friend wasn't an actual friend to me. And then I had abandoned a true friend for that special attention. I actually have. And I was older than Patsy when I did it. And it took me ages to realize, oh my gosh, my old friends were right about this other person. I was just blinded by their influence and being younger and flattered by their attentions. And I just blew off the people who genuinely cared about me, and it stuck with me through everything. So that's just to be fair to Patsy. She's still being a total brat, and Chloe should push her down some stairs. Go for it, Chloe.
Hold her hair.
I won't tell.
Hey,
No one
take
has to know.
tiara. You snatch that tiara right off of her head.
Take the tiara.
Take it.
Creepy hearing her parrot Trudy's words back to her.
Oh, it's so bad.
But this is another part. This is where another part of the writing in this episode that makes me feel like I'm being gaslit by the writers. Because so much of this episode feels like they forgot I've seen other episodes. By the way, some of the characters are written. Like, I didn't just watch another episode. And this is one of those where I feel like they're a little inconsistent about how much Patsy knows and understands.
Yeah.
Of what's supposed to be. Like, in one episode, it's like it's implied Trudy's telling her everything about the Chosen. And then in this episode, Patsy's asking questions about the Chosen, like she and Trudy haven't already talked about it. And it's a little inconsistent. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, what exactly has she told her about the Chosen? Because when they...
Enough to not feel like kidnapping is bad.
Right. Because Patsy seems a little in and out as to what she knows and what she doesn't. And I don't know.
She seems fully indoctrinated at this point. I don't care. She's full on.
Trudy, you shouldn't be so proud that you indoctrinated Patsy. I mean, she's not the...
That's not a lot of work.
She's not the brightest crayon in the box, Trudy. No. It's not really a success story.
If she would have got Chloe.
Exactly.
That's the true, you know...
I mean, she's a little too proud of herself for winning over Patsy, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
She couldn't have even won over Bob. Let's just, you know.
No, Bob would know. Bob would have known from the very beginning that Brady was not Brady and that Trudy was insane. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not insane, but that she was not who she should be. Different, yes. He would have known. Cloudy, what are you doing?
Trudy would, like, getting Patsy's like shooting fish in a barrel. You know what I'm saying? It's not a sport.
With a net.
I mean, in all fairness, Cloudy had no chance to smell the real Brady before the real Brady got taken.
I'm aware, that's true, and didn't know Trudy either, but...
Even Cloudy knew something was off about Trudy.
I mean, yeah, but Bob would have known. He would have saved everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even though I know the things that Trudy are wrong, you know, and if I didn't hate the Mallrats so much, I'd feel terrible that this is happening to them. I just, in that moment, seeing her with her baby, I was just like, oh my gosh, Jaffa, of course you wouldn't send that baby back with her.
Right.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because up until then, I wondered, you know, like, how did she go with the kid? You know, I didn't realize that the baby was not Brady.
It adds a nice complexity. Because they could have easily just gone with, oh, they managed to brainwash her. So she's happily going along with it. And they decided, no, it's more complex than that. Jaffa is smarter than that. You know, this is all just a test for Trudy. And that's why she's so unhinged, you know?
Oof.
It's a great moment. Great moment.
It is. It's a good ending.
Any mother would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would burn the Mallrats to the ground for my kid. Are you kidding? Jeez.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I'd be like, you want me to go blow it up? Okay.
Absolutely.
I got you.
I might save the dog.
I'd probably save the dog and the pig, you know?
Yeah, but everyone else, I might yell fire. Just give you a warning.
I'll blow this place. Exactly. I will bring it to the ground.
That's my baby.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings Series 2, Episode 43 to a close. Thank you very much to the panel. And if you'd like to take part in a future episode of the podcast, do send us a message on our Facebook page or on our website, thetribe.co.uk. So we'll see you next time for episode 44. Until then, bye.
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 Bye.